So, do y'all remember this moment? It went viral during the Stanley Cup Playoffs earlier last season when the Toronto Maple Leafs were in a pretty bad losing bout against the Boston Bruins. Now, I think it was like Game 4? The Bruins were up 2-0? Yeah, that's what it was. That was the tail of the tape here, around a halfway mark of the game when the Toronto Maple Leafs were down in this situation. And the reason this was going viral back during the Stanley Cup Playoffs is because, of course, we had William Nylander yelling to Mitch Marner, "Stop effing crying, bro. This isn't effing juniors." And the crazy part is, we're revisiting this moment because now that the NHL's Amazon Prime Face-Off series has come out, we are now starting to see just what really happened during some of these moments. Now, I'm pretty sure most of y'all are on Prime. If you're not, then okay, I guess we could skip over the previews and everything, but via one of the latest episodes, we actually had ourselves the full confirmation as to what it is Nylander ended up yelling to Mitch Marner. Take a look at this tweet made by Leafs Latest. We finally know William Nylander's exact words from his viral moment showing frustration with Mitch Marner on the bench during the game after the whole thing was mic'd up in his episode on Prime with David Pastrnak. This was the first episode, Best of Rivals. Maple Leafs, Nylander, and Bruins Pastrnak both mic'd up, especially considering that they're playing off against each other in the playoff series at hand. This is the quote from William Nylander, yelling to Marner, "Effing shoot it! Stop effing crying, bro! This is the effing issue. You guys be about S, let's effing go!" And yeah, I kinda have to censor myself because YouTube doesn't like these words, but this is it. William Nylander laying the smack down on his fellow teammate Mitch Marner, and a lot of people are going out there and responding to this in a very positive way. You know you're soft when one of the softest players in the league is okay, nope, that's a troll. That's a troll, that's rage bait, we're not gonna reply to that. This says a ton about Marner and Willie. He is bang on. That attitude is exactly 100% the reason why his team can't win when the pressure is up. Bravo, 88. Talk to them, Willie. Good, I'm glad that he said this. Willie is the man. He clearly wasn't just talking to Mitch either. I would run through a wall for William Nylander. Marner is so overrated, I would give him away and rebuild with free agents. And so here's the thing. When it comes to language like this, it's kind of daunting, I'd say, for fans that don't really play sports to see that this kind of thing is even being said, because, you know, when we're watching these guys on TV, they don't have the mics on them. You just kind of see them as a glimpse as what they are on the ice. You see them get angry, you see them get competitive, you see them fight. You can imagine the things that they go out there and say. Obviously, those things aren't very nice, but I'd think if you're not really too big of a hockey player yourself, or you don't play too much competitive sports, it doesn't really feel natural to see the guys going out there and yelling at each other, calling each other out, seeing Nylander yell over to Marner, "Hey, stop crying, bro. Shoot it. This is the issue. You whine about crap all the time. Just step up." Because in a way, it kind of validates a lot of what the main discourse around Mitch Marner has been the past few years. No longer is it just, oh, people online are talking about how Marner whines and complains and cries about stuff. No, it's William Nylander telling him that too. But the thing is, I think, for most athletes in an ultra-competitive environment, especially in the Stanley Cup playoffs, with all the history involved, you're against Boston one more time, you always lose to Boston, you never make it past the first round, you want to make it past the first round again for the first time in decades. With all the context surrounding this situation, of course, the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to go out there and yell at each other and maybe use some very harsh language because this is not the kind of thing to take lightly. And if you remember, the Maple Leafs were getting smoked in this Game 4. They ended up losing that. They had a 3-1 series deficit. They won 2, forced Game 7, and then lost in overtime. Of course, tempers were flaring high on the team, and if you're a part of a sporting environment, you kind of recognize that it's not unnatural for the best of the best to get frustrated with not only themselves, but with each other, and to call each other out in a way that may or may not be seen as healthy. I'm not saying that it's necessarily a good thing that the Maple Leafs guys were yelling at each other in this way, but I will say it's not surprising. And quite frankly, it might not even be the worst that we have ever heard. This is just one moment from one game off of one episode in the Amazon series. There are 82 regular season games and a ton more heartbreaking playoff losses the Maple Leafs have suffered through the past few years too. This may not even be the worst of what was said. And that's not me implying that there's like a fractured relationship here or anything. It's just guys get competitive and guys say stuff. I'm sure Marner and Nylander are friends off the ice. I'm sure they're great buds, and I'm sure that outside of the scope of super intense playoff games, they probably do have regular old rational civil discussion. But when the going gets tough, that's when the animal comes out, and that's when you see things like this, where the players call each other out. Stop crying, bro. This is the issue. You're always whining about this. And the best part is, like, I think a lot of fans would go out there and agree. It's kind of the tail of the tape here with the Toronto Maple Leafs, right? It spells that they know what's going on, and they understand everything that the Maple Leafs fan base is understanding. Not even just the Maple Leafs fans, but every NHL fan. How many years has it been that Mitch Marner has had this reputation of not having the best showcases when the games are important, him throwing the puck over the glass, and him not producing, and him maybe pulling out a beautiful elite caliber play once in a while, but maybe that only being it for a good chunk of time. And then he's crying, complaining, and not really showing off well, and Nylander's like, suck it up, buddy, just go out there and shoot. Shoot it, it's not the juniors. Oddly enough, the only goal that Marner scored in that Boston series, the most recent one, that is, was a goal that kind of looked like a junior goal where he dangled the pants off of the guy and went over to the backhand, waited out the goalie, and then shot it into the open cage. That goal goes in juniors a lot. It doesn't in the NHL. And he had a lot of opportunities throughout the rest of the playoffs to show up and get more points, but straight up he didn't. Marner is going to be making so much money on his next contract. He's going to be making, what, 11.5? 11.9? 12 million? Past 2024, 2025, he's going to have a lot of money on his hands. And this is the kind of player that everybody sees shows up in maybe the worst ways possible in the playoffs, and he's getting called out by his own team because of it. This was back in the time frame when everybody was saying Marner was going to get traded or whatever, too. Ever since that playoff series concluded, the summer was filled with so many Marner trade rumors, but nothing ended up happening, and now he's still there. With Craig Berube at the helm, I guess this might be the last try for Mitch Marner and the experiment in Toronto, but if nothing is able to fix itself over the next 12 months or so, we could very well be seeing Mitch Marner in another sweater by the time September rolls around next year. So let me know your thoughts in the comments section below about Mitch Marner and the comments from William Nylander finally being revealed via the Amazon Face-Off series. He was mic'd up, he yelled it out, he's yelling at his buddy Mitch, and this is the response. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.